are making podcasts and thinking in 90 days they're somehow going to blow up. When the reality is that you're finding your voice for the first year. You're figuring out what way you communicate. You're learning how to teach, how to entertain, how to present. You're learning how to speak. And you're also learning about the stuff that you're learning meantime, right? The time's gonna pass no matter what. But if you can think in decades, when you make your goals, when that decade does pass, it'll show that you were thinking that way. Right? Cycle. And what we did was we shifted what he was focusing on, because he was focusing on the sales he was making, he was focusing on the money he was making, rather than focusing on the process. You are not successful in my eyes because whenever you see some outcome, you stop the activities, which means you don't have the trait of consistency. I was like, the reason you aren't where you want to be is because you can't do things repeatedly. And so most people can't do one thing over and over again. You need.
This is not the video that I had intended for the day. This is not the video. This is not the video that I had intended for the day. This is not the video that I had intended for the last 2 weeks. I had like a plan and videos to shoot, but unfortunately I haven't done that. I was sick and probably used that as an excuse not to shoot videos, but also I realized something that has also really made me not be shooting videos, and that is the fact that I felt like I was trying to prove myself and like trying to prove my worth and trying to prove that I can do this, not specifically YouTube, but in other aspects of my life. I find myself that I have been lost, because obviously when you're trying to not be who you are, there's a certain aspect of you that is kind of lost. And that is how I have felt for the last 2 weeks. And that has really messed up my consistency. And I know you're not supposed to like do things based on how you feel, but rather like you're just supposed to act. You know, like you're not your emotions. You're the one who feels the emotions. You're not your thoughts. But sometimes those thoughts and those feelings really get to you, and they got to me, and I have felt the need to try and prove myself, whether in conversations to people. I have tried to like feel like to elevate myself and not to seem, you know, like just as I am. I have not been authentic with like how I've expressed expressing myself, and that has really messed it up, especially when it comes to my productivity and like doing things that I'm supposed to do. Because ultimately, like, you know, the goal is to show up as you are and like who you also desire to be, you know, but the goal is to show up as you are, and I have not been doing that, and I am telling you it is not easy, especially when you're trying to prove yourself either to people around you or to the world. Like if you're constantly trying to prove yourself, it kind of numbs you, it kind of makes you stop in your tracks and stop doing the things that you know will push you forward. So this video is for anyone out there who's felt like they've been trying to prove themselves. You know, just take your time, not stop acting like I did, but like taking your time to, you know, pause and remember exactly like what you want for yourself in your life, and what people want or what people think of you, or how you view how people think of you should not be a matter of concern. That is a lesson that I'm trying to also learn, and I am just sharing what I have experienced myself. So this video is for you also if you have been going through a moment of being stuck. You know, they say that we're never really stuck. You know, we are always in motion. It's either we're moving backwards or we're moving forwards, but we're never really like static. Anyway, so if you felt stuck like I have, I hope that you also find like a season of clarity, whatever that is. Like, you know, like when you're stuck, you start wondering if whatever you're doing is right. You start trying to do 1,000 things, and that is exactly what I've done. Instead of trying to focus on the one thing, or like try to focus on exactly what you're doing. You know, like they say success is obviously a build up. You know, like doing the same thing over and over and over again. You've been doing the same thing over and over again like I have, and you feel like you're not seeing results. You're in that point where you feel like, you know, it is just like you're not moving, you're not going anywhere, and that is the moment that we find ourselves literally like going around and searching for 1,001 things to do, and that is how we feel. That is the moment that you feel stuck, because then you're going to these 1,000 things, and these 1,000 things are not feeding you. These 1,000 things, when they're not growing you, you know, you're just doing them for the sake of, you know, to feel a certain way or to try a new thing, and then you realize that, oh, this is not working for me, and then you are worried that you stopped doing whatever you were supposed to be doing, or continuing to do whatever you were doing. So if you're stuck, you're there and you're doing this all other things, remember to like, let's come back. What do they say? Recalibrate or something. Let's come back to the center of who we are, and like continue focusing on the small little things that we know ultimately will build up in the future.